California's government just got Claude at half price, and this isn't about the discount. Anthropic slashed the cost of their AI model by 50% for California state agencies. But here's what actually happened. They're playing the long game. Think back to how Microsoft crushed the competition decades ago. They gave Windows and Office to schools at steep discounts. Millions of kids grew up using Microsoft tools. By the time they graduated and joined the workforce, nobody switched. Anthropic is running the exact same playbook with Claude in government. They are sacrificing short-term revenue to lock in the entire California bureaucracy. And California isn't small, it's the world's fourth largest economy. Governor Newsom doesn't just set policy for California. Every state watches what California does and copies it. So if Anthropic is the AI powering California government, analyzing legislation, writing policies, processing data, then suddenly every other state legislature wants the same thing. This deal is brilliant not because Claude is cheaper. It's brilliant because Anthropic just bought political legitimacy and government lock-in. And here's where it gets interesting. This is the moment AI stops being something governments buy on a contract-by-contract basis. Let's back up. Why did Anthropic do this now? The answer's timing and perception. Anthropic has positioned itself as the safety-first AI company, the responsible alternative to other AI labs that move fast and break things. Claude's reputation is built on being thoughtful, careful, and trustworthy. Government is the opposite of a startup. Government is slow, cautious, and obsessed with liability and ethics. Anthropic fits that perfectly. Now add Governor Newsom. He's California's most tech-forward governor in decades. He's obsessed with California being the global leader in AI policy and technology. He sees this deal as California saying yes to AI while saying yes to responsible AI. For Anthropic, the timing is critical. Other AI companies are racing to put their models into government. OpenAI with GPT, Google with Gemini, Meta with Llama. Anthropic realized that if they moved fast and got California first, they'd own government before the competitors even showed up. This is classic first-mover advantage. California says yes to Claude. Other states look at California and think that's the safe choice. That's the one government's already using. We should use that one too. It's lock-in through legitimacy, not through marketing. Anthropic's betting that the goodwill from California will echo across every state house in America. And here's what the headlines aren't telling you. This is just round one. So what exactly did Anthropic offer? Here's the deal. California state agencies get Claude at 50% of the standard enterprise pricing. That's a massive cut, but it's not unlimited. The discount applies to all of California's government departments, legislative offices, health agencies, education, tax administration, social services, everything. Anthropic's saying they're willing to absorb that cost for the entire state because they are betting on volume and long-term stickiness. Discount covers both Claude's API access for back-end systems and Claude's web interface for direct use. So a legislative analyst can pay half price to use Claude to draft policy. A health department can pay half price to use Claude to process grant applications. A tax office can pay half price to use Claude to analyze regulatory data. No token limits mentioned, which is unusual. Most enterprise deals cap how many tokens you can use. Not this one. California can basically use as much Claude as they want at half price. That signals Anthropic's confident about lock-in. Once you've rebuilt your entire government workflow around Claude, you're not switching to something else because the switching cost is enormous. Implementation starts immediately. California doesn't have to wait for budgets to reset or fiscal years to align. They're moving Claude in right now. And here's the thing, the deal is public, which means every other state's government is reading about it today and asking their own AI vendors, why can't we get that price too? Here's where it gets concrete. California's not buying Claude just to say they have AI. They have specific problems Claude solves. Legislative analysis is huge. California's legislature has to process thousands of bills every session. Staffers usually read through proposals manually. Claude can summarize a 100-page bill in minutes, extract key costs, identify unintended consequences, flag contradictions with existing law. That saves weeks of work. Grant writing is another one. California's government gives out grants to nonprofits and local governments. Grant applications are long, dense, and competitive. Currently, a nonprofit might write 10 grant applications and get one funded. With Claude, They can write much smarter applications, much faster. That multiplies the quality of the project's California funds. Constituent services is a third use case. Thousands of people email their representatives every day. Most emails are similar questions. How do I apply for this benefit? Who's my representative? What's the status of this bill? Claude can categorize those emails, draft responses, flag the ones that need human attention. Suddenly, a staffer who spent 8 hours a day sorting email can focus on actual constituent problems. Department-specific stuff matters too. The health department can use Claude to analyze medical data, flag trends in disease or injury patterns. Education can analyze curriculum effectiveness. The tax department can find patterns in tax filings, spot potential errors or fraud. Let's put this in context. Is this deal actually unique, or are governments already doing this? Microsoft's been selling Azure Government for years, a special version of Azure with extra security and compliance features for government agencies. Microsoft offers steep discounts on Azure Government. Google's got Google Cloud for government. AWS has AWS Gov Cloud, so government-specific AI pricing isn't new. But here's what's different about the Anthropic deal. It's directly targeting the decision maker, the governor. Newsom announced this publicly as a policy victory. Microsoft's government deals are usually boring B2B contracts nobody celebrates. Anthropic made it political. That's brilliant because politics is where lock-in actually happens. Once a governor has publicly championed Claude as California's AI, backing down becomes politically expensive. Compare this to OpenAI's approach. OpenAI's been quiet about government deals. They're focused on enterprise, not public sector. Google's Gemini is available to government, but not at any special discount. Anthropic's showing that you can move faster in government if you make it a political story, not just a sales story. There's also the speed factor. Most government deals take a year to negotiate. Anthropic fast-tracked this. Governor Newsom wanted to announce it before the end of June. Anthropic said yes immediately. That speed signals they are serious. They're not treating this like a typical government sale. They are treating it like a strategic investment. And that's what separates this deal from everything else. This is existential positioning, not just revenue. Here's what this deal signals about AI's future in government. First, adoption is accelerating way faster than regulation can keep up. Governor Newsom announced this deal without needing federal approval, without extensive AI audits, without waiting for new laws about government AI use. He just decided and moved. That's the speed of venture capital thinking applied to government. Regulation will follow later. Second, this is competitive pressure on OpenAI and Google. They're scrambling right now asking, why didn't we move first on California? OpenAI's been quiet on government. Google's been quiet on government. Anthropic saw the gap and moved aggressively. That means you're about to see a price war in government AI. Microsoft will probably respond by slashing Azure prices for California. Google will probably offer Gemini at a discount. OpenAI might finally launch a government program. The winner will be whoever gets locked in first. Third, this proves AI companies are thinking like platform builders, not tool sellers. When you think like a tool seller, you maximize revenue per customer. When you think like a platform builder, you maximize adoption and lock in. Anthropic's thinking like a platform builder. They're willing to lose millions in revenue this year to own government for the next decade. Fourth, this shows other states the template. Texas will watch what California does and ask, can we get a similar deal? New York will ask the same thing. If you're a governor, legislator, or CIO watching this and thinking about your own AI deal, here's what you should do. First, move fast. Anthropic moved fast because they knew that being first is worth more than being best. If you're the first state to get an AI at a huge discount, you're the template everyone else copies. Speed matters more than getting the perfect terms. Second, make it public and political. Don't do this as a quiet procurement. Make it a governor to CEO conversation. Make it news, call a press conference. Announce it as progress for your state. Public announcements create lock-in because backing down becomes embarrassing. Third, ask for what you actually want. The California deal is a discount, but smart states will ask for more. Ask for no token limits. Ask for direct API access. Ask for integration support. Ask for customization. Don't just negotiate price. Negotiate the whole deal structure. Fourth, play companies off each other. Tell OpenAI that Anthropic's offering California 50% off. Tell Google, tell Microsoft, let them compete for your state. Government scale is massive. A state like Texas or Florida could commit to a single AI company for a decade of use. That's worth billions. Companies will fight for that. Fifth, demand transparency and safety requirements. Here's what this deal actually means. AI just stopped being something governments experiment with and became something they can't live without. Within 6 months, I'd expect Texas to announce a deal. Within a year, New York and Florida will too. Within 2 years, every large state will have embedded AI into their government, and Anthropic will have owned that market because they moved first with California. But watch for a second wave. Once AI is in government, governments will demand better AI. They'll want AI built specifically for government, AI that understands constitutional law, AI that understands fiscal policy, AI that understands how bureaucracy actually works. That's where the next competitive battle happens. OpenAI and Google will build government-specific versions of their AI. Anthropic might partner with think tanks and universities to train Claude specifically on government documents. The company that builds the best government AI doesn't just win California, they own the entire public sector. That's worth tens of billions of dollars. Second thing to watch, regulation will follow, not lead. Right now there's no federal law governing how government agencies use AI, but once California's using Claude to draft legislation and analyze policy, Congress will suddenly care. They'll ask questions about bias, about accuracy, about liability. The AI company that's already in government when those regulations come will have enormous advantage because they'll shape what the regulations are. Anthropic's betting on this too.